Hello everyone. I'm back after a while. Uh, so I did not record a lot of content towards the end of the first half of the season because I'd said before, this is not a profession for me. This is just a source of expression more than anything else. And yeah, I just, October was really busy. It's a festival month in India, and I missed 1 week. And then, once the continuity is lost, then it becomes much easier to miss a deadline, miss a week. Now, thankfully, that did not happen in the actual game. But yeah, it kind of got really monotonous because pretty much everyone had the same team except for one or two players. And uh, it started right from somewhere around game week 8 9. First there was Madison, then Zaha, then there was a Foden hype, Saka hype, Callum Wilson hype, and yeah, it ended with Darwin Nunez. So pretty much everyone was buying the same players, and uh, it gets really boring. I mean, even the big FPL content creators, even they did not really enjoy the process towards the end of the first half. So yeah, I do not promise to make content regularly. This is not actually content. This is just I'm recording stuff on my phone and putting it out instead of writing it out. That is all this these videos that I record are all about. So yeah, I actually ended the first half pretty well. I took a few risks. I went against Haaland in 2 weeks, and going for Salah in those 2 weeks actually went quite well for me, and it helped me to move up the ranks quite a lot. The last week I actually dropped a bit, in spite of having Darwin Nunez and him scoring a brace. But yeah, in terms of my mini leagues and stuff, it was a pretty good week, and I went up the ranks actually. So I'm very much happy where I'm somewhere between 500 to 600k. I don't remember exactly. I think 538k or 568k, something like that. So still the scores are very very close. So one or two good weeks, even one or two big differential returns, and you are suddenly you know you drop a figure from your rank. That's how close it is. So yeah, FPL has given us this opportunity to change our teams entirely after the World Cup, and this is something that we had seen after the COVID break in the 2020-21 season. And yes, it's justified because there could be so many injuries, and things will not be fair on some people depending on the kind of teams you have. So it's kind of like a mini wildcard, but there is a slight advantage here. Now, a lot of people kept on saying, you're going to find some big accounts also saying that team value is not important. Don't waste your transfer. Don't make your transfers early. This time, I think a lot of those people, they actually themselves made those moves early. I have always been in favor of making the moves early. If you have a squad, if you can put out a playing 11, why not? So that's what I did, and yeah, I think my team value, I'm quite happy with the team value that I have. I played my wild card in game week 2, which always helps in, when the price rises are crazy. It helps in catching those price rises and, selling off players who have a price drop. And it helps us to accumulate team value quite fast. Now, the same thing can happen once again because the World Cup is just over, and a lot of people who watched World Cup, they would probably want to come back and watch the Premier League as well. And that means a lot of zombie teams, a lot of casual players are going to be active in FPL as well. So I think, I'm not going to, after making unlimited transfers in GameWeek17, I'm not going to rule myself out from making GameWeek18, putting out an entirely fresh team by playing my wildcard, the second wildcard in GameWeek18. That very well could happen. So anyway, The thing is, now everyone has unlimited transfers, the same number of transfers, but it's a bit different from the first game week 1, because firstly, there are certain players in our teams with whom we have some value tied, which is very precious, and we'll probably move them on if, you know, just in case we did not have this at the back of our mind that this player is going to do well, and then we'll have to buy them back for a lot more money. You could look at someone like Martinelli. Most of us bought him very early in the season. I did not have him in game week 1, but from game week 2 onwards I had him, and I got him for 6.0, and I think his value in my team is right now 6.4. If I sell him, I'm not 100% sure what his cost price is. It could be 6.8 or 6.9. But if I sell him, I'll have to, I have to buy him back by paying 0.4 or 5 million more, which is, it hampers your team value significantly. So these are the kind of players. Are we going to keep Martinelli? I think yes. He has pretty good fixtures coming up, and Arsenal are playing really well, and there have been rumors that he could be playing through the middle. But still, if we did not have value tied in him, maybe we won't be considering him right now, because some other teams have better fixtures. And yeah, so this is one thing. And the second thing is, of course, the total team value that you have. That always helps you to have that, have that 4.5 million keeper or a 5 million keeper. The difference could be, having a better team value. So not everyone can afford the same team, and that makes things quite interesting right now. So we are actually reaping our benefits from playing that wildcard early and accumulating team value. So anyway, I'm just narrating my team. So I did not check FPL a lot. I did not check it at all during the World Cup. I have just logged into the site, I think, once or twice after the World Cup has ended, and I looked at a couple of drafts that I could afford, and I was quite clear about whom I want and whom I don't. There are a few areas, there are a couple of areas. Other than that, I'm quite set, unless there are injuries. So I'm recording this right now during the halftime of City versus Liverpool game, Carabao Cup. So yeah, that is not going to play a huge part in, unless there are injuries, of course, like I said. So anyway, this is the team that I'm putting out. Danny Ward, of course, he's going to be there. He's going to be there in every team. So he has kind of become a real hero, FPL hero this season. And being an ex-Liverpool player, I really like it, because the kind of abuses that he was getting, the worst goalkeeper in the history of Premier League and stuff like that. And suddenly, Leicester started defending as an unit better, and Danny Ward was accumulating points for fun. He had so many clean sheets. And the biggest beneficiaries of, Danny Ward owners have been those who have had Iverson on the bench. The Ward Iverson combo, I think it paid off handsomely, which was mocked at a lot at the beginning of the season, even towards the middle of the season. And those who played their wildcards in Gameweek 8, and they went with, Iverson and Ward. I really feel bad for those who actually went with Iverson on the bench instead of Danny Ward, playing it a bit too smart, thinking that Iverson is going to come in and Ward is going to lose his place. But yeah, that was actually a possibility. But I did play Ward a couple of weeks, but I also had James Justin, and so doubling up on the Leicester defense never seemed like a very good idea. So, but yeah, I had the Leicester clean sheets pretty much every week, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, going forward, Danny Ward is there. He's still going to be on the bench, and I think the Ward Iverson combo is it's still looking a pretty decent option because it saves you a lot of money and you could move to someone else instead. So yeah, so Danny Ward is there. He's my bench goalkeeper, and my first choice goalkeeper is going to be David De Gea at the moment. Yeah, so Man United defensively very good, very organized. I have called them Burnley multiple times on Twitter, the new Burnley, and yeah, they look like a team that is defense first, and they have been keeping a few clean sheets. If you can have a Man United defender, I think they have good fixtures as well, and if you can have one of the fullbacks, it's a good option as well. Now I'm kind of in between. I want to cover the United defense and the Chelsea defense both, so I'm kind of in between having De Gea and a Chelsea defender, which is what I'm leaning towards right now. And the other option is, of course, to have the Chelsea keeper, which we don't know who the first choice is, who's fit, who's not. I try to get updates about the behind closed doors friendly that Chelsea played against Brentford on Tuesday, but I could not get much updates from that. And it was a strange kind of a format because they played 45 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm not sure. They played three halves basically, and it doesn't really matter if Kepa or Mendy how many minutes they played. We won't figure out from that who's going to be the first choice, or if Kepa is fully fit to start or not. We cannot make out either from that game. So yeah, that is why I'm actually leaning towards David De Gea, and yeah, I see a lot of drafts with Kepa. So if he's playing at 4.5, I think Chelsea's defense has struggled this season. It's mostly about the double game weeks that are coming up. Reece James is a player a lot of people are going for. I'm not sure he's going to play both the games. I'm not sure he's going to play, a lot of minutes to begin with. He has just been back. He has not played any competitive football for a good while now. So here we'll see. But Reece James does have potential to go big. And if it happens, it happens. You cannot do anything about it. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards David De Gea and Cucurella. I'm going with Cucurella because who else do I go for? There are not too many options at Chelsea. There's Azpilicueta. He might play some minutes. There is Chalobah. I like Chalobah. I think there are rumors that Thiago Silva did not play that behind the closed doors friendly as well. So Chelsea, we don't even know if they're going to have two at the back or three at the back. Now Cucurella is also, I'm not very sure about him because he could get benched. He has not really found his spot at Chelsea so far. He could play left centre back, he could play left wing back. If Chelsea played two at the back, two centre backs, he might not even start. We have seen, I'm not sure what his name is, but this young guy, he's a midfielder. He's listed as a 4.5 midfielder, but it's late night. Dogs are barking. Dogs are barking a lot. So yeah, that's like background music. That's fine. So yeah, anyway, Chelsea, I'm not sure about any of the options that Chelsea have, but I'm going with Cucurella because once the double game week is done, I could just sell him off and get done with it. Get done with Chelsea for a while. That is what I'm looking at. And the goalkeeper, you need someone who's reliable, whom you do not want to change a lot. And yeah, that is why De Gea looks like a more reliable option for me. So yeah, that is what I'm leaning towards. The other two defenders, very template picks. Kieran Trippier. Obviously everyone has him. Everyone will continue to have him. Joao Cancelo, pretty much the same. I think the only City defender who's nailed. Now at 7.2, he is expensive, but then As a Liverpool fan, of course, I mean, if given a choice, I'd want to go for someone like Robertson or Alexander-Arnold. But City are going to keep clean sheets. We are very sure about that. And if Cancelo is playing, even if it's not that attacking, we are covering that City defense. And yeah, some of the weeks that is fine. He might come up with, you know, he does nothing and still he comes up with an 8 or 9 pointer, and that is completely fine. A lot of money to pay for that, but yeah, that is okay. He's another player on whom I've got some value attached. So if I sell him, I cannot buy him back for cheap. So yeah, he's staying. He's 100% staying. Then to very, very inexpensive defenders, Patterson at Everton. Now, he was actually the main rival of Nico Williams at the beginning of the season. And I watched him play and I've kind of been impressed by him. He looks quite attacking. He makes some good runs in the box. He looks very much like, Seamus Coleman of old days. And, then of course he got injured. And now that he's back, I think, Everton have also looked like a team which is defense first this season. So, yeah, some weeks, he might come into the side. And the final option is Bueno. The Wolverhampton defender, 3.9. He played in the Carabao Cup as well. Looks nailed. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. I think he's another player whom pretty much everyone is going to have as their fifth defender. And the 15th player, precisely. So he's going to be there. And so I'm leaving out Nico Williams. I'm done with Nico Williams and I'm done with Justin because Justin is injured. He's not going to play. Loyal warrior for me. Always did so well. And once again, a bad injury. It sucks, but that's something which always happens in football. And Nico Williams is a strange kind of situation. I really love him, and he got so much stick from some Liverpool fans, and he went to Nottingham Forest, and he did so well. And yeah, it's strange. It just feels like they have too many players, and they have to give opportunity to everyone. He has shifted positions. He was playing so well. He started the season, delivering set pieces and stuff like that. He was so attacking, and then suddenly, Morgan Gibbs-White comes in. I think his delivery is very average, and he took the set pieces from Nico right away. And then Serge Aurier came in, and Aurier took Nico Williams' place in the right back position or right wing back position. Nico shifted to left as well, and yeah, they have many options there as well. So he's no longer nailed. And in spite of that, he of course comes on late in the game as well. So it's never really ideal. But then he gets 1-pointers, and most Nottingham Forest defenders, even if they're starting, they're going to make 1 or 2 pointers. So if we're looking at a base price 4.0 defender, I think he's still the third best option. If you want to go ultra cheap at the back with three 4.0 defenders, I think Nico can be your fifth defender, guaranteed 1-pointers every week, and your 15th player, I think. But yeah, I'm going with Patterson and Bueno because they are unlimited transfers, and yeah, why not have players who are going to play more minutes. So that's the defense sorted. Now let's move into the midfield. And Martinelli, like I said, Martinelli is staying. 6.4. Jesus is out. He might play through the middle. He might play on the left. Anyway, he was getting close to the goal. He's on the corner from the right or the left wing as well. So yeah, and it's an absolute no-brainer. He's actually the only Arsenal player that I have right now, and yeah, that is how it looks like going to be, even though I'm really rooting for Arsenal to, keep up their pace, keep up with their, performances so far, and compete with City, and hopefully we are going to see a good title run. And yeah, Martinelli stays, of course he stays. Another player who stays is Andres Pereira, 4.5 million midfielder. Now, there are quite a few rivals for his spot. He has done really well. There is absolutely no denying this fact. Andres Pereira he has had goals and assists most of the time. For me at least, it's been weeks where my mini league rivals and some of them had him on the bench, and then someone did not play and he came on, so it did not really benefit me a lot. But still, he's a great option to have, and there is a double game week, of course, coming up in game week 19. But yeah, if we are looking to change this spot, for me, it's a 4.5 million spot, and I have to look at options. I have to look at the best possible options in that price point. And I looked at Andres Pereira. I looked at Garnacho from Man United. Now he doesn't look nailed, especially if Martial is fit. Rashford is going to play on the left. So, even the Carabao Cup is started, he came off quite early. I think in the 47th or 49th minute he came on. I'm not sure if it's an injury or anything, but yeah, Garnacho did look a really, really good player towards the end of the first half. Other than that, of course, there is Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey is, quietly, he has actually been, if you have had him in your team in the right weeks, he has scored you points. He has dropped in team values immensely from 5 to 4.5, and he might drop further, but still, is a pretty good option. I think Unai Emery coming up at Aston Villa, we are going to see a second manager bounce after the break as well. I really fear for Liverpool in the very first week away to Aston Villa. It's not a great fixture, and I have my feelings that we are going to struggle there. We might score, but it could be a difficult game. And yeah, Bailey is a player I can actually see him scoring against Liverpool. And yeah, 4.5 million for an attacking midfielder who scores goals, who gets you assists, playing for a very, very good team. If you're not going to play him every week, why not? And other than that, the next option that I'm looking at is Somerville of Leeds. Leeds don't have great fixtures, but Somerville looked such a good player. And yeah, I really like him, and I might have actually gone with him if Leeds had better fixtures. But Leeds in general, it's not the Leeds under Bielsa, and of course, we cannot bank on them to score a lot of goals. If it was that Bielsa team, you'd think Leeds, a Leeds 4.5 million attacking player who's kind of he's starting games as well. So yeah, that's a very good option as well. But anyway, it's the tried and tested Andres Pereira, and I'm sticking with him. I've got some value attached to him as well. Has he gone up in price? I'm not sure, because pretty much everyone had him from game week 1. So yeah, Pereira is there. Then the two new players that I'm looking at. First of all, it's Miguel Almiron. Now, Almiron is, it kind of breaks my heart, because I was eyeing Almiron as my very first transfer in Game Week 3 this season. I had money for a 5 million midfielder, and I was looking at the options. And eventually I went with Solimarch. Now, Almiron, the main reason why I was actually tempted by Almiron, because I saw him play really well in the first two games. He had a pretty good preseason as well. He looked nailed. He was playing against City, and I always like picking players who are playing against City. It is such a joy when they score. And Almiron actually scored in game week 3. And it did not feel really good. Of course, that game ended 3-3. City dropped points. It would have been such a big FPL moment if I'd gone with him. And then, of course, he kept on playing well, and he scored a lot of goals. And slowly his price started going up. It's up to 5.8 right now. So anyone who bought him at 5.0, I think it is impossible to sell him right now. But then I have to pay 8 million is 0.8 million more if I'm buying him right now. But I have the money right now, so I can afford him. So yeah, So Almiron is coming on. Newcastle are playing really, really well, and I think he's individually is playing really well as well. So yeah, I'm going with Almiron. He's coming into my team. Insane value. I think if he keeps on playing well, his value is going to keep on going up. And my next midfield pick is, is quite interesting. I'm actually seeing some people bring him in, but a lot of people are going with somebody from that same team for a lower price value. But when you have the money, why not spend it on a tried and tested FPL asset from the past? Bruno Fernandes, 9.8 million. When he first came into the game, I think it was 9.5. So this is actually the lowest he has been since Cristiano Ronaldo joined Man United. And in 2020-21 season, and even at the start of 21-22 season, Bruno Fernandes was one of the best FPL picks. He was actually the main rival of Mo Salah as the best FPL pick in the game. He was, it was between Salah and Bruno, whom he was going to captain every week. And suddenly Ronaldo came in, he lost his penalties, and his performance also dropped. Now, of course, a lot of people are saying that Ronaldo did not play a lot of games this season anyway, and still Bruno's numbers are not great. What I'm looking at is the psychological impact of that. We saw Bruno Fernandes doing so well in the World Cup. After that news that Ronaldo is no longer at the club. Now, those things do happen, and we are all human beings, and I think Bruno is going to be, he's playing in a much better team than he was before, because I can see United scoring quite a lot of goals, with the kind of fixtures that they have. And he has got Anthony on the left, Anthony on the right, Rashford on the left, Martial up top. They're good backups as well. So now I can see Bruno Fernandes being the main guy, the talisman at Man United once again. And if he's available for a price like that, why should I not go for him? I can go for someone cheaper, 8 million midfielder, that price lot, Madison, Foden, Saka. There's so many options. Kulusevski, there's so many options. But, when you have the chance to go for a premium, you take that chance. And that is what I'm doing. If it doesn't work, I can, of course, downgrade him to an 8 million pick 2 weeks later, depending on who's doing well. So, yeah, Bruno Fernandes is 100% at the moment. I'm going for him over Rashford, over any other option. I think those players, Rashford and all the other players, they're not rotation risks. I think it's pretty much nailed that if everyone is fit, it's going to be Rashford on the left, Martial up top, and Anthony on the right. But still, you have got players like Jadon Sancho and Garnacho who's doing so well. You have got those options, and even if there is no rotation, there could be a minute sacrifice, and I don't see that happening with Bruno Fernandes. So that is why I'm bringing him in. Now, he actually did, we did actually buy him a few times last season. In slots when Man United had double game weeks, or Ronaldo was unfit, they had very good fixtures in weeks like that, and he actually did really well in those weeks. So yeah, that is what I'm banking on, and he's my fourth midfielder. The fifth midfield pick, now that is a bit interesting because I'm not nailed on this right now. I have got Mo Salah in my team, and I have got 0.1 million value attached to Mo Salah as well. I bought him for 12.7 and now he costs 12.8. I'm in a bit of dilemma there because I'm kind of favoring towards going with Kevin De Bruyne instead. City have better fixtures, City look in better form, and City have 2 double game weeks coming up, and Liverpool don't have any double game weeks scheduled right now. So everything that's in the head says go for De Bruyne, but as a Liverpool fan, of course, you want to go for Mo Salah. And the biggest thing is, if I pick the team that I'm talking about right now, if I sell Salah for De Bruyne, I cannot get him back because of that 0.1 million. So I'll come back to that later. This is a decision that I have not made so far. But yeah, I'm probably 75-25 favoring towards actually going for De Bruyne instead of Salah. Especially, the news that Bobby Firmino has picked up a calf strain. And if Firmino doesn't play, if it's all about, Darwin Nunez up front, I'm probably not going to have Salah in my team. So yeah, that's the midfield done. Now the strikers, it's a very template looking strike force that I'm seeing in a lot of FPL drafts right now. Haaland is there. Absolutely no need to talk about him. Haaland captain, pretty much everyone is going to be on that every week, and that is how I see my opportunities to grow. The weeks where I'm going to take risks against Haaland, and so far it has paid off. There's some game weeks where it did not pay off, but overall, if I look at the points in those weeks, I think I'm in profit. So yeah, that is what I'm looking to do going forward as well. And yeah, so Haaland is, of course, it's a even Haaland captain is pretty much it's a waste, because you're absolutely going to benefit nothing from that particular slot in your team. And then the next position is actually Darwin Nunez, and once again quite expensive. But yeah, if I cannot go without a Liverpool player, and if I'm not going with Salah, and even if I'm going with Salah, I think Nunez, he has been Liverpool's main guy this season. The chances have kept on falling at his feet. He has missed quite a lot of them. He has not really been great, but quietly in the last few weeks, I think he has been scoring a few goals, and hopefully, I'm going to hope that he continues with that form. So yeah, he's going to be there. I've also got a little bit value attached to him as well. He did get me that brace against Southampton in the last week, so he's going to be there. The third slot is again where I'm a little bit on the, I'm not 100% sure. The template, of course, has Mitrovic, and I also, in the draft that I had prepared, I also had Mitrovic. Mitrovic is 6'8", and that, if I go with Mitrovic and Salah, I have 0.0 in the bank. That is, I made that draft and I was so happy, because most of the times we have a draft that we love and then we have 0.1 million less in the bank. Now I had 0.0, and now when I'm looking at it, of course, if I go with De Bruyne, I'm going to have 0.1 in the bank. De Bruyne is 12.6, Salah is 12.8. So if I sell Salah for De Bruyne, I cannot get him back. I'd need 0.2. And not exactly because of that, but it's mostly because the fixture in the first week is so good for Man United. I was actually hoping to go for Anthony Martial. He's 6'7", and that is basically 0.1 cheaper than Mitrovic. It's not going to be a long-term pick. It's almost like guaranteeing a transfer in the future. If Mitrovic is not suspended for the double game week, then there is absolutely no need to, not go for him. I think he has shown us time and again this season that he can score against anyone. He has scored against the big teams, and he needs that one chance. He can bully the best defenses, the best defenders. He can score against anyone. And he can score penalties as well. So it's a no-brainer. I think if you want to play safe, you want to play conservative, go with Mitrovic. And if you want to take that chance, why not go for Martial? And another player that I'm just thinking about him as I'm recording this at the moment, so I'm not sure what his price is, but another player that I'm genuinely looking at, as a short-term pick is actually Danny Ings. Danny Ings has a very good scoring record against Liverpool, and I kind of just have this feeling that he's going to, hurt us in that GameWeek 17 fixtures. And Aston Villa, you know, ever since Emery has come in, they have been on and off, but the weeks they have actually played well, they've scored a lot of goals. And Danny Ings is a goal machine when the chances fall for him. He's such a good finisher. Of course, there is that threat of Ollie Watkins, but both of them can play in the same team. We've seen that before. It's just a random thought. I do have Danny Ings in my mind. Now I may not, because I'm not seeing right now. I'm just recording this. I'm not looking at any screen, so I cannot check his value. I may not be able to afford him, but if I could, he actually looks like a very interesting option to me. Okay, so this is it then. I'm pretty much nailed. The only thought process that I have in my mind about changing slots is that Man United and Chelsea defensive slots. Which goalkeeper to have, which defender to have. Currently, I'm leaning towards De Gea and Cucurella, but it could be Kepa or Mendy with a Man United defender, which is of course going to give me a little bit more money as well. So that always helps. But I'm favoring the Man United keeper and Chelsea defender combination. The second one is of course Salah or De Bruyne. I love Mo Salah, but De Bruyne looks like a better pick on paper right now. And the third one, of course, is that Mitrovic, the third striker slot. And it could be Martial, it could be Danny Ings. I don't have money for Callum Wilson. And yeah, that is pretty much it. FPL is back, and football is back. I did enjoy the World Cup fantasy as well. A lot of people seem to criticize it a lot. I actually enjoyed the complications of that game, and complications always makes it more interesting, and that is what I love about playing this fantasy online games. And yeah, I was supporting England, and I did not really enjoy the World Cup as much as I did back in 2018. The craze, it just felt like rushed a lot. It got over so quickly. But anyway, that was always going to happen with the placing of it right in the middle of the season. And hopefully, we're not going to have too many injuries going forward because of, the hectic schedule that we have seen. Yeah, so, yeah, FPL is back. Football at this time of the year is generally very, very busy. But this year it's a bit more calm. But yeah, Boxing Day, things are going to be back. And yeah, looking forward to it. That's it.